Hello and welcome to Ordering Rational Numbers. So we are going to order this set of numbers from least to greatest, that is the smallest number to the largest number. Now, when you are ordering rational numbers, the first thing you need to remember is that you need to put them into the same format. Since we have decimals and we have fractions, we need to choose. Make them all decimals or make them all fractions. I'm going to show you how to do both, and you can determine which method you like the best. I'm going to start with making everything decimals. Now, remember that when you make them decimals, that's not enough. They have to be decimals in the same format. So whichever decimal winds up being the longest one, whatever place value it goes to, they must all go to that place value to compare. So the first number is already decimal, 72 hundredths. I'll write 72 hundredths. The next number is a fraction, 16 over 25. I must turn 16 over 25 into a decimal. Now, I can do that by realizing that 25 times 4 is 100, multiplying both by 4 and finding the fraction with 100 as the denominator, but that won't always work. So the other method I could do is long division. I could do 25 into 16. 25 goes into 16 0 times, so go into 160. 25 goes into 160 6 times. 25 times 6 is 150. Subtract, get 10, bring down to 0. 25 goes into 100 4 times. 25 times 4 is 100, subtract, get 0. And once you get 0, you're done. So 16 over 25, if I turn it into a decimal, is 64 hundredths. 7 over 10 is 7 tenths. I can just make it 7 tenths. But they must all go to the same place value, so I add a 0 to make it go to the hundredths. 6 tenths is already a decimal, but it does not go to the same place value. I add a 0 so that they all go to the hundredths place. Now that I have them all as decimals and they all go to the same place value, I can ignore whatever whole number is there and just look at the decimals. 72, 64, 70, and 60. 60 is the smallest. So I'll mark that one off, and I'll write its original form, 6 tenths, as my first or my smallest number. Then I got 72, 64, and 70. 64 is the next smallest. I'll write its original form, 16 over 25, is the next smallest. My last two numbers are 72 and 70. Since 70 is smaller, I'll write its original form, 7 over 10. And the last number is the 72 hundredths, which I'll write down, and that is my numbers in size order from smallest to largest. If I wanted to turn these all into fractions, 72 hundredths would just be 72 over 100. 7 tenths is still 7 tenths. 16 over 25 is still 16 over 25. And 6 tenths can be written as 6 tenths. Now, I need to find a number where they could all have a common denominator. This one that's not that difficult, but there will be ones that would be much more difficult. Turning them into a decimal is always done the same way. As a fraction, you have to hope you have numbers where you can find an easy common denominator. It's not always going to be easy like 100. And I then need to find my new numerators to go with those denominators. So 10 times 10 is 100, 7 times 10 is 70. 25 times 4 is 100, so 16 times 4 is 64. And 10 times 10 is 100, so 6 times 10 is 60. And once they have the same common denominator, I can then do what I did before. Take the numbers, 60 is the smallest, it goes first. 64 is next, it goes second. 70 is third, it goes third. And 72 is the largest, so it goes last. And that is how you order your rational numbers. Put them in the same format and then compare them.